Well, I had the very difficult honor of meeting two of your expectations, which is first is the lunch, and second is trying to say things that have not been said in the last few days. I think we have heard so many voices, we have heard so many concepts, many of these, of course, in different terminologies. So I'll try to, well, mine will be more like a wrap up, but with some elements of experiences from my country, Bhutan. As a filmmaker, let me tell you a story. In 2009, a devastating earthquake hit my country, Bhutan. A lot of destructions, a lot of deaths in the eastern part of the country from where I actually come from. So it was a double kind of a stressful moment for me, both seeing my ancestral home collapse as well as being at the center of the relief operations, obviously coordinated and spearheaded by His Majesty the King, to whom I served as the media director at that time. So it was very stressful moments, days and days of destructions and news and misery flowing in minute by minute for 24 hours every day. So something like on the third or the fourth day, I got a little fed up with all the bad news that was coming from Eastern Bhutan, and I called up a young journalist of Quinzel, to whom I asked, but isn't there anything good happening there? I mean, like someone saving a life or somebody hosting a family that has lost house. I mean, is everything bad? Only thing happening there? I mean, could you find out? And this young journalist took my words very seriously, although it was not an instruction, but he did. And he came out with a story about a village health worker who had saved a child from a house that was crumbling down in front of him, where the entire family was killed, but this small child was, the infant child was saved. And that news made the front line of Quinzel newspaper. And by far, when we talk about the Eastern Bhutan earthquake these days, that is seen as one of the most important, one of the most eventful, one of the most touching stories from the otherwise devastating earthquake. The bottom line is that good news is also news, and we really don't have to be fixated with only controversies, conflicts, and corruptions to hit the headline. Well, my interest on mindful journalism, middle path journalism, and a new approach to journalism dates back actually to 2006, when the country was preparing for the democracy that was spearheaded by the fourth king, which eventually happened in 2008. So in 2006, when the whole country was preparing, the academics and practitioners came together in preparation for 2008 and beyond. That was the conference held by the Royal University. And one of my presentation was whether we should be adopting the Western media model, or if we could come up with our own media model that's more suited to our own history, culture, traditions, and the way we are as a nation. It didn't take much. It didn't make much move forward then, unfortunately, because I was inducted as a palace staff right after that. But anyway, I was quite happy to be now being associated again and raising this question again 10 years later. Just to give some context to what I'm going to talk about. Some backgrounds. Bhutan is known now more as a country that values gross national happiness over gross domestic product. But one clarification that I would like to make is that gross national happiness, GNH, really does not preclude GDP. So GDP is one of the means of achieving GNH. So it's not that we have all become monks and we have retreated into the mountains. Okay? So that's not happened. Economic development, or the sustainable economic development, is the key phrase, and we use that as one of the means to achieve the overall well-being of the country. And democracy is also one of the other means for the well-being. And His Majesty the King mentioned several times that democracy is not an end in itself, but as a means towards country's greater aspiration for happiness, for well-being. So, which means that media is actually, in Bhutan, is a means to an end. Okay? And the end happens to be what we call Deki, which is peace and prosperity. So in other words, what we would like to do that is that if democracy is a means, the media is a means to democracy, and the overall, the end is happiness and well-being of the country, then shouldn't the media be working towards that overall or the ultimate aspiration of the country? So that's the question that we are beginning to pose again in 2015. Few others, sorry. A few more. What has happened after 2008 is that the media has proliferated, the mass media has proliferated. Social media has almost replaced the traditional media. We have something like 1/6 of the population hooked to all the social media outlets and platforms. And the traditional media has declined, like in every other country. Over and above the decline of the traditional media, we are also speaking of a country with a very diverse ethnic backgrounds. I mean, it's a small country, 700,000. I think one of the districts in Bangkok would have more people than that. But we're speaking about 18 to 20 different ethnic groups and languages. 60% of the country under 24, a very low literacy rate. And most important, a country that has 3 different worldviews. My father's generation has a different worldview, I have a different worldview, and my daughter totally another worldview altogether. So all these actually adds up to the complexity of what a media should actually represent. Okay, if the media is to reflect a society. In the pre-2008 era, like most of the public service media in Asia, we also practice development journalism. In the post-2008 era, with the coming of democracy, I don't know what kind of media we are actually practicing. I have absolutely no idea. I think it definitely is without any directions. It's very partisan at times. So we have learned the bad habits of the Western fourth estate model. So my proposition is that can we develop a unique media model or an alternative media model that can run parallel to the existing media model? And one of the concepts that I'm proposing is that we could develop this on the concept of contentment, which is my first proposition. Speaking about contentment, while this may sound very Buddhist, I'm also involved with researchers from Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, and they have done some literature review of all major traditions, civilizations, cultures, and religions. And it seems that every great tradition from as far as the